This is the No More Wasted Days podcast, and we're your hosts, Sarah Kaufman Bradstreet
and Heather PG. Grab your favorite NA drink and listen as we share vulnerable stories so you never feel alone on your alcohol-free journey.
And gain insights from us as we break down our most used tips and strategies that have kept us alcohol-free.
It's time to break free from wasting any more of your days to the drinking, blackout, hangover cycle.
Welcome to another episode of the No More Wasted Days podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sarah.
I'm Heather.
And today, Heather has prepared a really cool topic for us. She's going to be talking all about the science of making your bed.
I'm really excited about it.
I am too. When I saw the topic, because sometimes we kind of surprise each other with our topics, just a little behind the scenes for you listeners.
This year. June. Hi, Cosmo. Cosmo wants to weigh in on this topic. Oh my God.
Podcast here.
We really are. I forget I'm on a recording. You've got Cosmo. I'm talking about
I was totally like, I think he can handle it. I think he's going to be able to hang. And it's like 2 seconds into recording. Nope. All right. So I started actually making my bed before I quit drinking. It was one of the habits. Probably 1 year before I quit drinking is when I started it.
I started making my bed in June, and I made on our habit tracker for the day makers, I made it a goal to make it a habit. And it stuck.
I love that.
I really liking it. So this topic, well, before we dive in, I want to invite y'all to leave us a rating and a review. And this is important to help us stay visible. And we're almost a year old this month.
It's amazing.
The pod will be celebrating its 1 year podiversary at the end of the month. So if y'all have questions, we have answers.
And we're going to do a Q&A episode for you on the 1 year anniversary because we did one in the middle of the summer and we loved it.
So much fun. I
know. They're super fun because we get to be, a little bit more conversational and it's just fun. It feels like we're just chatting with you live and in person. Yeah. So ask your questions. I will be sharing in my Instagram stories a few times, like, what questions do you want us to answer on our Q&A episode? So be on the lookout for that. But you can also reach out to us through our social media profiles, or you can email me at sarah@nomorewasteddays.co. My Sarah is spelled without an H because H's are ugh. So have you seen that Jimmy Fallon thing? It's a whole, I'll have to send you a thing. But so sarah@nomorewasteddays.co, and you could just title it question for the pod, and I will know, and I'll get them all organized so we can answer those.
Yeah, I'll put some of my stories also, and we love doing them. Last time it was just so much fun. So help us out. We've got answers to your questions. We're going to talk about something that has fascinated me since I quit drinking, and it's as simple as, do you make your bed or not? Like, I don't know why I got fascinated with this topic right after I quit drinking. I think it's just a very interesting niche thing to think about. It's also how my brain works. Like when I was a member of another sobriety community, I asked one of the leaders out of nowhere, he was an old timer from AA. I was like, do you make your bed every day? He was like, I do. I was like, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just have been fascinated. Me and one of my sober best friend, we talk about this a lot. And I can't be the only person that has these questions.
No, I don't think so.
Before we dive in, I do want to say it's not just for productivity. It's not a matter of just like checking the box per se. There is some scientific research that makes what may seem like a trivial task support your alcohol-free lifestyle. There is a reason why we make our bed in the morning. It's just not something that my mother had us do growing up, right? There's actually a reason. So that's what we're going to talk about. It does set the tone for your day in terms of your healthier habits when you're first quitting drinking or just no matter where you are on your journey. So number one, the power of small wins. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm looking for all the little bitty wins I can get each day. And this is a very immediate, tangible, visual success to start the day, boosting your self-esteem, your motivation, your dopamine. And that's key. That's a key factor.
I love that one because I think for the longest time, I didn't make my bed and I thought it was going to slow me down in the morning, but it really takes very little time. And I am really bad. I'm a bad housekeeper. It's not something I've admitted it now on multiple episodes that housekeeping, not my thing, but I will generally make the bed every single day. Now, lately I've been figuring out a new routine. Like, I don't know what it is about this school year, but I've had a hard time finding my morning routine since my kids have gone back to school. So I need to figure that out just because I think it's because Ryan and I live in the yurt and our kids live in the house and we do everything in the house except for basically sleep and watch TV at nighttime. So it's like, okay, it's at a different space almost, but I need to make it happen because, man, I also love crawling into a made bed. I think there's nothing better. And I think that's what kind of kept me going when I first started it.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the time change, I don't know about y'all, but 6 p.m. feels like 18 p.m. So it's nice to get in your bed that's made and like
yes,
covers up and you're just like already ready for bed.
Yeah, it's the best.
It really is. So you've got your small wins and then it helps strengthen your willpower. I don't like the word willpower. I don't think I'm like a lot of words, but I don't make them up. So, but it does help give you a more accomplished and strengthened willpower. The little tasks can create momentum that makes it easier to stay committed to your larger sobriety goal of the day.
Mm-hmm. And I've heard too, the same thing along those lines of it's like you start out your day with proving to yourself that you can do something hard, something that's a little bit of an obstacle. Now, we're not necessarily saying you need to make your bed in the morning, but when you do, it does strengthen that little muscle that says, okay, we can do hard things because we did this and it made you feel better. Yeah. And that's the other piece, like doing the thing, seeing that it makes you feel better. And then your brain starts going, okay, sometimes when I do hard things, I feel better afterwards, which is so important to remember.
Yes. And number 2 is the psychological effects of order and control. I love this because it's like the contrast of the control episode that we did recently, where this start of your day gives you the sense of order, like a tidy bed, and it can foster a greater sense of control. And that's really helpful when we're navigating the challenges of being alcohol free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because there's so many things that are like out of our control when we quit drinking, or it feels like they're out of control. Because we used to numb them out with alcohol. We didn't used to control them with alcohol. It just more made us be numb to them. Right. So when you can have that control over something so simple, that's a huge win.
And it's such a simple thing, like you were saying, Sarah, and alcohol controls us when we're drinking. And this is a way to get that tidiness. You know, all you have to do is make your bed and close your closet door and your bedroom looks so much more tidy. And then you have a little more control and perceived control. Mm-hmm. And again, the connection between control and emotional stability, it's so key to creating a calm environment, how it can reduce anxiety and impulsivity when it comes to cravings.
Yeah. I love that you said, and it's going back just a few seconds, but that you said alcohol controlled you. And now by doing a simple task, by making your bed, you're taking control back, because I think I forget that piece a lot, how much alcohol was in the driver's seat of my life. So thank you so much for pointing that out, because I think you've said it a few times on a few different episodes. And I'm always like, yeah, it's something I definitely forgot.
Yeah. And it's an oxymoron to me. So this is a simple way to control your environment and create a little emotional stability.
Yeah.
And number 3, reducing stress and avoiding triggers. So having a clutter-free or less cluttered space can reduce the mental clutter and stress, which leads to clear thinking and fewer distractions, which are crucial when you're trying to manage triggers and cravings on your alcohol-free journey.
Yeah.
And as a person who has significant ADHD, who has been called a neat freak more times than I can count, it's not necessarily that I'm like the cleanest, neatest person in the world. It's that right there, reducing my mental clutter and stress.
Yeah.
It's if my whole house or my space is really cluttered, that is a visual representation of how my brain is.
I understand that for sure. That's something that I struggle to communicate with Ryan, because he'll sometimes say, I don't know why you want to take the time on the weekend to clean. Everything just becomes a disaster again because of our kids and our animals. And while it's true, I think the thing that I want dealt with is the clutter a lot of the time, because the deep cleaning stuff I actually do kind of as I go through life. I'll just be like, oh, that needs to be, especially like in my kitchen and bathroom. I feel like those two spaces I keep somewhat clean, but it's the clutter. It's the stuff on the bathroom counter. It's the stuff on our kitchen island where we also eat dinner. And it's right now trying to figure out where the heck our mail pile goes. Like, and those things to me, when you say I see them and they are a representation of how cluttered my brain is, that's like, it's going to therapy with Heather.
It's just true. For me, it's just true. And like, I'm one of these people, if I get really stressed, I start throwing things away.
Oh my God, yes.
The more, like, I'll give an example. I threw away my daughter's craft box with like the markers and the color.
You're like, I don't need this.
I didn't mean to. I'm like, I had to go to the dollar store and buy new, because I was like, only thing I can guess is I went on a cleaning spree and threw your things away. And they weren't like meaningful things. They were on the island.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no doubt that I accidentally just and threw them away. So for me, like, to keep it under control so that I don't do an island sweep and then there goes some important stuff, it's just better to keep ahead of it. That was a tangent. It's probably like, people are like, I thought this was about reducing stress. Here you are, stress cleaning. But I do think, in all seriousness, like a ritual and routine and maintaining your sobriety, including a consistent morning routine, as Sara and I talk about a lot, like making your bed, can create a mental buffer against stressors that might lead to your drinking. And it's just a little tiny habits and wins. So 4, building healthy habits that stick. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, how I started making my bed every day is just, I've been really interested in it, and I just moved. I had a really cool, new, pretty like comforter and pile of throw pillows, to include one that says I am Beyonce always. And it's just nice to be able to make it a healthy habit that is visually pleasing, gives a sense of accomplishment, and it can be like a foundation of discipline and self-respect.
Yeah.
When you're maintaining your alcohol-free life and your self-improvement as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And again, being consistent with the small actions can help rewire your brain toward a healthier, more intentional choice and choices, not just around alcohol, but in other areas of your life, like exercise, nutrition, and sleep.
I definitely see that correlation of if you can prove to yourself you can do one habit, then your brain starts to believe you can do other habits. And I don't know about you, but before I was a person who made my bed regularly, I didn't believe I could be that person. And I also made up stories of why I didn't want to be that person. Like, it's so ridiculous, but I was just like, no, I don't make my bed. And I've actually read some studies that your bed stays cleaner when you don't read it, or, all these different things that I would say. And when I started, I was like, oh man, this is really good. I like this. And my dad has always been a person who makes the bed. Always, always, always. So I grew up seeing somebody do it and really not understanding the why. But I think so much of it's a healthy habit. And when you start to prove that you can do those habits, it just starts to compound, and you can be like, oh, I can probably quit drinking. Obviously, that's a lot different than making your bed and the habit of being alcohol free, but you start to see those connections.
And if you're listening and you're like, I've never thought about this, or I have this one friend that always makes her bed, or one that doesn't, ask people if you want. Like, as I do. I'm like, have you always done that? Like, why do you do that?
Mm-hmm. My dad started it when he was in the Army. And it was, he might have done it when he was a kid. I'll have to ask him. but he was always just like, that's what we were taught we would do. You'd make your bed first thing. And it seems very like, oh, that's a little regimented, right? And maybe that's why I rebelled against it a little bit. But it really is that doing a hard thing in the morning that really isn't all that hard sets you up for more success throughout the day.
Absolutely. And number 5 is the importance of structure. And so many people don't like the word structure. And I
like it.
I do. And I do because it keeps me sane. It's what keeps me alcohol free. It's what keeps my brain less cluttered. It's what keeps me from throwing away things that are important by accident. So having that tied more into emotional and mental resilience is really important to me than to be hung up on the semantics and the wording of structure. Right. So you're working on staying alcohol free and having a predictable routine that includes intentional actions like making your bed can give you stability and self-control, which I think is all a lot of folks are just looking for, is some things that they control, things that help their mental and emotional resilience. Yeah. And it's not going to hurt anything. That I do know.
It really isn't.
Yeah. And you get a sense of accomplishment from following through, like you were saying, with the simplest task. And it makes you feel more capable to tackle bigger challenges, like resisting cravings. And it's not going to cure your cravings at all. It's just building the muscle of, I can do this thing.
Yeah. This hard task is here in front of me, but I can conquer it.
Yeah. And then number 6, sleep and sobriety. And everybody talks about sleep hygiene, right? But if people talk about it, they'll tell you how to do it. We should do a whole episode on sleep hygiene.
Yeah, we could.
Because I feel like I have finally mastered it after 3.5 years.
I am the master.
Well, I'm the master of HP sleep hygiene, which is key and often overlooked when you first quit drinking, because people talk about how you can't sleep and how alcohol disrupts your sleep. And little things like making your bed can help your sleep hygiene and the quality of rest.
I did a TikTok on it probably 2 years ago now. I should probably redo it. But one of the things that I said for when people were like, I just can't sleep now that I've quit drinking, one of my tips was make your bed, because when you get in it, it feels better. There's nothing better than a crisp, nice bed.
Right. And then when you clean your sheets and make the bed.
Oh, that's level. It's leveling up.
That's top tier self-care right there. So we're going to talk about some more ideas about making your bed. But before we do that, I want to invite y'all to check out the show notes, look at the day makers, so you can join an awesome group of folks who are like-minded, who may or may not make their bed. I don't know. It's a good question. We'll have to post it in the weekly focus to find out more research. And I would like for you to check out the link to work with me one-on-one. We can work on building lasting habits, boosting your resilience, and creating a life that you deserve. So more thoughts. And this is just kind of like some little things here about, fostering the sense of self-worth and control by making your bed. And if it's going to make my self-worth not feel like a group decision, I'm going to make the bed.
Yeah, it really is a self-worth thing when it comes down to it, because you are doing this thing to make your space nicer, telling your brain, I deserve a nice space, which can be hard. Like if you're a parent, if you are busy, maybe you work 2 jobs, maybe you work a job and you go to school. So you feel like you're just always coming and going and you can't keep your space the way you really want it. But making your bed is just a huge win in that area. And it triggers that thing in your brain that says, I'm worth this. I'm worth this little bit of work to have this little luxury in my life.
Right. And you can reclaim all the nights and mornings that you don't remember and all the shame and regret. Get up and make your bed.
Yes. And when you make your bed, I highly suggest doing the turn down, because that's another next level, because that's what they do at hotels. So you're like, look at me. I got the turn down service. I'll always joke with my husband, I did the turn down service. I
like that. And then if you put the flat sheet over and you have a decorative sheet and you put it on backwards and you turn it down, it shows the decorative part.
I've done those little things. That's all stuff where I'm like, oh, I got to do that. I got to change that too, because our bedding situation is a little wackadoodle right now.
Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you needed this episode to
We did get a new duvet cover, and I love it. I'm always like, that's so nice. But our dog really is trying to claim our bed. So I tend to make the bed and then cover it with blankets that I don't care about. And I'm like, ugh.
We're uncovering the root cause of your routine.
Yeah. I gotta get Lily. And the thing is, our dog has her own bed, and it's like one of the kids' old beds from the yurt. So she has a literal bed in the yurt. And I'm like, go sleep in your own damn bed.
It's a whole bed.
She's like, yours is a little more comfortable. I'm like, I know it is. Go sleep in your own.
Right. So, and just little more things about like your reward system. When we do these things consistently, our brain's reward system is activated, and we, again, like we need all the help we can in reward activation and rewiring and building a foundation for more complex behaviors. And it's so cool how like the habit stacking can really improve the quality of your life and help you with impulse control.
Yeah, definitely. This has all been so helpful.
Yeah. And any boost of confidence, any stability, any reduction in mental clutter. Again, we're going to reduce the mental clutter and increase the mental resilience, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start saying that instead of structure.
I like that, because a lot of people do feel like that against the word structure. If you can really be like, it's building that resilience, and I like that too.
Yeah, I think it's less rage againstable. That's my word for the day. See, that's why they don't let me make words, because they don't make any sense.
I like that one.
So there are links, though, between like a tidy and organized environment and your emotional well-being, and the calm and the mental clarity of like making your bed, closing your closet door can really influence your mental clarity and emotional resilience.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, of course, it's like one of the things that they say to look for with, I know this is taking it to a whole extreme, but if you feel like a child is being abused and you know that their home life is really cluttered and messy, that it's not a safe home environment. And I'm not saying that making your bed makes it a safe home environment. Don't mishear that. But here instead, like when your environment is tidy and clean, it is a safe space for you to feel free to live your best life.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, just think about the powerful things that you just said. Like if that's what folks are looking at in development of children and their space, like we could be a little kinder to our own selves, whether we have kids or not, give ourselves some stability in the most simple way. And you can go to like the Dollar Tree and get you some throw pillows or a little throw for the holidays and like reclaim your space from booze a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And reclaim your space from the chaos that was your drinking life, even if it wasn't your physical space, because I know you can be a drinker and have a tidy space, but the mental space was most likely full of chaos. So to be able to clean that out physically will help so much with the mental.
Yes. And then, we talked about like the sleep hygiene and how making your bed can help with that. And, having better sleep quality and improved sleep consistency can help you stay emotionally regulated, which reduces cravings and allows for you to develop better.
For sure.
So there is my scientific research on making your bed. Very random information that lives rent-free in my head that now can live in yours. So let us know what you think. Let us know if you make your bed or not. Pop on our social media. I'll create a post. You create a post.
Yes.
I want to know. I have this deep curiosity without judgment about people and making their bed.
I'm curious too. And it doesn't have to be a fancy bed. You don't need all the throw pillows in the world. It really is just making the bed. Like right now, I don't have the fanciest bed in the world, but I get it made. And I for sure didn't have the fanciest bed in the world when I was living in a camper trailer.
Right? Yeah. And if you're like me, you have the sheet and just the comforter. So it's very few steps. I have a king size bed, but it's very few steps. And it makes a big difference. So
yeah,
again, let us know the questions that you have for us for our 1-year anniversary podiversary episode, and check out the links in the show notes for Daymakers and one-on-one coaching.
And I think you got it all. I was
Wow.
trying. Oh, and rate us and review us, please.
Yes.
That helps more than you know.
It really does. And I personally read every one of them, and it makes my day. Even if I don't think we've got a bad one, but even if it's bad, I want to know so we can improve.
Yeah, exactly. Give us some nice, what do they call it?
Constructive feedback.
You got it. Constructive criticism, constructive feedback. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Good, better, and different. We want to know.
Yes.
All right. We'll talk to you next week. Bye, y'all. You're gonna be popular. Popular. You're gonna be popular.